As you know, word on the street is that Sharina Hudson is threatening to spill on how Kevin Hunter had Wendy Williams hooked on stuff on her show for years. Apparently, Kevin's well is dry. Like dry. And I've seen reports claiming that Sharina is opting for harsh measures to get Kevin to step up because he can barely take care of their daughter, who Wendy was practically raising with her alimony. By the way, I'm not sure where she expects Kevin to get the money because last time I checked.
I don't recommend that you work with your husband because I made him my manager, and then when I decided to divorce him, he had to be fired. In other words, I made him divorced and unemployed all in one day.
Not unless Kevin has a hidden supply somewhere that Sharina discovered. Alternatively, it's possible that Sharina found out Kevin was unfaithful and is now preparing to get back at him. I have no idea. Honey, I wish I could tell you that the situation with Kevin surprises me, but it doesn't. So let's just focus on what Sharina is said to know. All right, everyone. Those who follow Wendy might remember that she intended to return to radio. In fact, her plan was to do that immediately after divorcing Kevin. However, rumors say that because the industry is small, news somehow reached Kevin that Wendy planned to leave television and go back to radio. Kevin was not willing to allow that to happen. Therefore, he supposedly devised a scheme with the production team to keep Wendy on medication just enough so she could still show up for work and host her program. Guess what? That tea Wendy drank every day on air? That was precisely the method they used to keep her medicated enough to function, though slightly out of touch with reality. Yes, every time Wendy sat down in her chair, one of her habits was to place her tea bag into the cup. But she was not the one pouring the hot water, and that is how they gained access to her. Allegedly, whatever substance they added to her cup began to produce side effects, which is why Wendy started behaving strangely on set. This actually accounts for all those moments when she appeared confused or disoriented. And according to reports, that well-known fall she took while wearing a green suit was partially caused by what was being slipped into her tea. Based on what has been said, the intention was to keep Wendy medicated for as long as feasible, exploit her for as long as possible, and then discard her once she was no longer useful. Now, from what I have heard, Kevin Hunter was aware of this and even arranged the whole thing. And his mistress, Sharina Hudson, supposedly knew about what was happening behind the scenes as well. And thinking back, Wendy's followers might remember that in several episodes, Wendy actually asked whether her team had put something in her tea. On one occasion, she even said something like, "If you're going to drop a pill into my tea, at least stir it properly so I can't see the residue. I'm not drinking that." Also, does anyone else question the Wendy producer who died by suicide after Wendy left the show? They claimed he did it because he had stolen money from a budget. But something about that story never felt right. Perhaps, just perhaps, he wanted to reveal the truth. And what about that time when authorities performed a wellness check on Wendy at her home because Kevin was supposedly poisoning her? What if that accusation was also true? Yes, it is very plausible that something suspicious was occurring and that both Kevin and Sharina were aware of it. And if neighborhood gossip is reliable, Sharina is reportedly prepared to reveal exactly what she knows, which indicates that something is definitely happening between her and Kevin Sr. Honestly, what else could Sharina want from a man who not only stopped supporting her financially, but also listed the house he shared with her for sale, took out 2 loans on 2 luxury vehicles through a company named Flex Wealth, and additionally faced a lawsuit from UBS Bank for allegedly refusing to pay his credit card debt? Honey, she is done. I know that some time ago there were already claims that Sharina left Kevin because he could no longer provide for her and her daughter. Because, as you know, Wendy was the one paying alimony for all 3 of them until her program ended. But even before that, Sharina was completely reliant on Wendy, since it was Wendy's money that funded all of Sharina's unsuccessful business ventures. For example, she trained to become a massage therapist and opened a small kiosk at a mall in North Carolina. At another point, Sharina also launched an online jewelry and clothing brand named Vish. Furthermore, she worked as a realtor, and she also started a vegan company after all her other endeavors failed. Kevin even literally purchased a house for Sharina just a few miles from where Wendy lived. using Wendy's money? Well, according to Wendy, everything failed because Sharina is not very intelligent.
Sharp anyway.
She was one of these, less than smart women who moved to the big city with bright lights, and she wanted to be a model. And so you know how the girls with the sparkler champagne bottles at the club, they get people to spend more money, they dress scantily clad and things like that. And I, being the girl about town, popular on the radio at that time, I was hosting a lot of these parties and I was a staple. I had the Wendy Williams Comedy Night at the Caroline's Comedy Club and things like that. And so, yeah, get over there with the sparkling girls and, hi girls, go look, see that guy right there? He's got money. See, because I knew the scene and attracted the scene. And all their job was to go over there and offer a sparkler champagne for more money than you normally spend for champagne, and guys would actually pay it. Kevin's problem is that Kevin ended up getting with this girl. She made herself very available to him. She was very disrespectful to me. Do you know he had the nerve to tell me that she admires me?
Oh. So they tried to pretend that everything was okay. And Kevin even paid tribute to Sharina for her birthday and described her as his wife in all caps with 2 red exclamation points in a post where he was like, "Happy birthday, my queen, mother, chef, wife. If you want it, you can get it for the rest of your life." However, according to reports, now that Sharina is no longer receiving anything from Kevin, she has no reason to stay with him. I even heard that Sharina went back to her family home, which is strange because she had reportedly cut off all contact with her entire family. By the way, when Kevin's affair became public, Sharina's family agreed that she played a major role in destroying Wendy's marriage. In fact, in an exclusive interview, Sharina's uncle blamed her for playing a significant part in Wendy Williams' toxic divorce, stating, "She's a strong girl. She should know right from wrong." According to Sharina's uncle, she left her home state of South Carolina years ago and did not return to see her family even during the holidays. Sharina definitely believed that she had secured financial stability. And even when Wendy divorced Kevin, Sharina was still safe because Wendy continued to send Kevin checks. But now that money is all gone, and Sharina had no choice but to go back to her family. But as I said, it's not as if Kevin can magically come up with money. Literally not long ago, Kevin filed court documents for about the 5th time requesting that the court cancel and set aside the settlement agreement with Wendy. He based his request on what he claimed was fraud, misrepresentation, and misconduct. Essentially, he was still after Wendy's money. He even cited an affidavit from Wendy's best friend, Regina Shell, who said that while living with Wendy in July 2022, she saw Wendy's cumulative bank balance. Regina also said that Wendy was considering changing her financial institution and met with Bank of America in December 2022. Regina stated that she was present during the entire presentation with senior advisors at Bank of America's private banking group, where they outlined the best products available to Wendy. She also said that after the meeting, she, Wendy, and Wendy's guardian Sabrina were all in the same vehicle on their way to a courthouse. Then days later, a dramatic turn occurred, and Wendy's publicist claimed to have overheard a conversation between Wendy and her guardian, where Sabrina told Wendy that there was no money in her accounts. This was what Kevin was using as a basis in court to try to get money from Wendy, because he believes that Wendy has hidden money somewhere. However, according to a countersuit filed by Sabrina, she stated that Kevin was the one who owed Wendy money. In the court filing, Sabrina claimed that the payments to Kevin were conditional on Wendy's yearly earned income being less than twice her yearly income as of February 1st, 2020. The Guardian then said that Wendy, who had not shown up to host the Wendy Williams show for her entire last season, stopped receiving her full salary in October 2021, but Kevin continued to receive his alimony. According to Sabrina, as a result, Kevin had been unjustly enriched by receiving $112,500. The monthly payment was $37,500, so 3 months totaled $112,500. Sabrina wanted Kevin to pay back that amount plus interest. So Kevin was basically broke and in debt. Again, unless there's something else happening between Kevin and Sharina that we don't know about, I truly have no idea where she expects him to get the money. Maybe he did in fact cheat on her, just like he did with Wendy. I suppose it is true that you lose people the same way you get them.
Club.
You know what I'm saying?
They said you're cognitively impaired and you're incapacitated.
Do I seem that way?
No.
You've been
God
calling,
damn it.
You've been
No,
calling me
no.
5 times a day for the last 2 weeks. No, you don't seem that way.
And just how dare you, excuse me, who I naturally am is who I naturally am, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
And my niece knows all about that. I mean, I'm sorry. I apologize.
And to be clear, you can't leave. Like, they won't allow you to leave or have visitors, family members or not. So you can't even leave and take a walk if you wanted to. Or
Wendy also said that there are things she can't discuss because she's legally not allowed to discuss them yet. And maybe this whole issue with Kevin is one of them. She's probably somewhere still plotting her comeback. But meanwhile, let me know what you think about Sharina allegedly threatening Kevin with Wendy receipts in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe it. Thanks for watching.